good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us in our conversation and Wow Talk series that we have been doing on Facebook Live. We, on behalf of our entire Wow Kids family, wish you a very happy Independence Day. Friends, tonight we are very fortunate to be joined by Sir Enrique Hank Fredman from Arizona, US. I thank you, sir, for agreeing to join us on this conversation with our Wow Kids family. So, sir, before we go get started, I would like to give a small introduction to our audience so that they are aware of what work you have been doing and what are the great things that you've done in the past. So, with over 30 years of experience as a public speaker, educator, author, and 2 times Grammy
Sure.
nominated composer and artist, Sir Enrique Hank Fredman is a founder and director of learning for the non-profit education organization, the Global Learning Foundation, formerly the FAME Foundation, which is fostering art mind education. He is also co-founder of Sumerian, which is inaudible tone technology, Big G, IBG, which is brain games, and the Sam the Ant, which is children's books. His Global Learning Foundation offers multiple services, including inspirational keynotes and workshops for corporate and non-profit organizations on multiple topics, all related to inspiring self innovation, creating sustainable workforces, fostering elevated relationship, inspiring others to be inspired, and transformation from efficient to elevated. He also works in early childhood, grade 12 research based and play based professional development. Author events, most recent publication is Sam the Ant, the new book series for children. Storytelling events with his co author Sam Sierra Fredman, Stories of Inspiration and Transformation. Film composer, which is most recent film in theaters, was Gun Hill Road, which is you can see it at www.gunhillroad.com. His educational focus is to help adults elevate their practice related to how they learn, love, and live by learning how to use different art forms and connecting them organically to academics and social emotional growth. The scope of his work is from early childhood through adult with a focus on early childhood, grade 5, elders for memory care, and working adults, youths related to coping and overcoming depression and anxiety. He is a community builder at heart, and his efforts are local, regional, national, and international in scope. He's excited and passionate about being a executive board member for Fight Cancer Global and an advisory member for international nonprofit CCLAC. Once again, sir, I welcome you to this webinar with Wow Kids family tonight. Okay. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Can you hear me well?
Yes, excellent, excellent. I think
Hopefully you can hear me well.
it's a very early
I'm
morning.
I'm having some trouble.
It's a very
Good,
early
good.
morning in
Well, I hope
Arizona.
you're all having a great.
Hello.
Yes. Well, I hope you're all having a great Independence Day, and it's a pleasure and an honor to be here with all of you today.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So we have seen your performance, and I've
Did you hear that?
uploaded it to
Okay.
everybody.
Yeah.
We have sent your performance to everybody, and we're extremely excited to see your performance. So, what is your source of energy that drives you? And you've been doing so many things, diverse things for the community. So, first, what drives you? Um,
That's a great question. Thank you for asking. I love performing because I love connecting with people. And I had a very special grandmother, my Nana. And my Nana would teach me many things. And one thing she would say to me is kind of sternly, she almost looked angry, but she wasn't. She said, "Everything you touch turns to gold." And I was very young. I wasn't sure what that meant. But I knew it was something good. And as I learned more about it, it began to impact my life. So what drives me is the fact that I grew up being taught that I had something to share with people. And as I began to fall in love with music at the age of 4, which is when I started playing piano, I noticed that it filled me up with energy to perform for other people, whether it was piano or singing or conducting orchestras. And so, what drives me also is I love to inspire others to be inspired. I love
Yes.
when other people feel driven a little bit more than they were an hour before. And finally, I also like to create curiosity. And music is such a, as you know, a tool. Music is such a powerful tool. Music, it really helps young children learn, impacts any space, a restaurant, a home, a business. The frequencies, the rhythms, they all impact our mood. So while today's not a research session, there's a lot of research behind the power of music, and there's the emotional side. So what drives me is are people, and then a little more information. When I write my music, it's very much about humanity. So the lyrics are about things like all the commonalities that we have with each other. Even though we're on the other side of planet Earth, you and I have a lot in common. And I like to focus on what we have in common using music as the bridge.
Right. Fantastic. So when we were talking the other day, there were several, topics we were discussing. So, I thought that we will take this opportunity to invite you to discuss on some very, very serious situations which are happening in our lives this time. So we all know that the present situation due to the
Yeah.
worldwide pandemic, which is coronavirus, global economies have got a major hit, and there is an indefinite recession. We don't know when things will be normal and businesses will restart the way they were few months back. There are a lot of people who have lost jobs. There are salary cuts that have happened, and there's a lot of uncertainty about a lot of things when things would be normal. So what is your message for the families, that what how to rally through this time?
That's a great question. It's a serious question we have today in the world. We have many challenges, as you've noted. And for me, it breaks down into two big categories. And one category is the emotional impact of being isolated. So there is an emotional disconnection. A lot of our routines, we no longer get to do the things we normally do, like today's Independence Day in your country. Normally, you'd probably be at parties, right, celebrating. But that isn't possible right now. So there's an emotional stress, and I call it compassion fatigue. We become very tired much more quickly because we're trying to take care of ourselves and other people. And so I have an answer for that one. I'll get back to that in a moment. The other area of stress, of course, is finances. Is some people, like you said, they're out of work. And to that, I would say don't uh, be willing to ask for help. Sometimes we have a lot of pride, and that's okay. We want to be self-sufficient, and that's good. But sometimes we can ask for help. And I have had friends who, and if you're doing all right, I would say go to your friends and colleagues who might not be doing well and ask them if they need help. So I've done that with many of my friends are now everything from making them some soup to cooking some food for them to spending some time on the phone with them. So we need to take care of each other. Back to the emotional part. That's a lot trickier, but it's something that I do a lot of with my foundation. So as the founder of the global learning foundation. We have already been doing this kind of work for a decade, for over 10 years. Of course, today with the pandemic, the issues are much more strident. They're much more obvious. There's a lot more stress. So what we need to all be thinking about is, how do we self-care? Big umbrella, big idea is, how do we take care of ourselves? And how do we do that so that we are modeling a way to overcome for others and for our children? So regarding self-care, I'd like to share a couple of ideas and then some strategies. An idea that I want to share with all of you today: adversity can be our ally. Adversity can be a moment where we can actually grow personally, professionally, with our children, and business. We just have to have the right mindset. How do we do that? How do we create a new mindset? We have to embrace new perspectives. Look, here's the reality, ATul. If you were to ask me, are things going to get to normal someday? I don't know.
Yeah,
I
nobody
do
knows.
believe that whatever normal we get to, who knows? Yeah. But whatever normal we get to will in fact be better than what we had if we allow ourselves to truly grow as human beings. So perspective, embracing new perspectives, is very, very important. That builds curiosity, right? And when curiosity is stirred, ignited, then we start to create new environments which can lead to transformation, thought. So going back to perspective, right? Going adversity as ally and taking care of ourselves. I want to be very specific so that everyone here today can walk away with strategies. One strategy is our brain. And our brain can either get younger or it can get older. There's nothing in between. So if we are using new ideas and experiencing new things and doing new things for our brain, it gets younger, it makes better decisions, and it deals with adversity better. It deals with stress much better. So here's something you can all take away. About 20 years ago, I invented IBG. They're called intellectual brainwave games. And I'd like to play one with you right now, right? Usually there's music involved. I'm not going to do that now. I'm going to focus on the movement. So ATul, I'd like you to do what I'm doing. And anyone watching, I'd like you to do what you see me doing. So if you could make a letter X, please. So if you could make a letter X, ATul, that'd be great. And if we're working with young children, I would have them play this game with me. I have my brothers play this game with me. And what we do is we start switching time with the music, doing that. And this is an easy brain game. That's a brain game for a 3-year-old, a 4-year-old. So if you just tried that and you're an adult, that'd be easy. In fact, it's too easy. That doesn't create newness in the brain. Here's another one I want you to try. So a finger here and a thumb here. And I'm not here. I'm not here. I'm here. And the thumb is not down, the thumb is in. So I'm going to switch them in a moment. So get ready. 1, 2, ready, and switch. 2, 3, and switch. 2. So if there's music, bum bee bee ba da ba dee dee bum 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 bee dum bum bee dee da dee dum bum bee dee dum bum 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 bee bee dum dee. So you're probably having difficulties because this is a new message for our brain. When I see my friend ATul, I don't say, "Hey ATul, how's it going?" I say like this. I say, "Hello, hi there," right? So we want new messages for our brains. So the brain games cross the midline. They cross the midline of left and right brain, and they create whole brain, a whole brain experience. So it could be as simple as shoulder with a young child, shoulders. Fun, playful, and helpful for our brain to stay active and young and resilient. We want resilient brains because resilient brains deal with adversity. Brains that are not resilient do not deal well with adversity. So there are a lot of brain games I could show you, but we'll keep it there for now. So the idea of self-care also relates to how we breathe. So as we're feeling fatigue and stress in these times, we need to make sure that we understand that our physiology, our body, our brain, our whole body impacts how we think. So the
Right.
brain work is important and the breath work is important. So the breath, I breathe differently than most people. I breathe in through my nose like most people. And sometimes I breathe out my mouth, other times out through my nose. But let me show you a measured, a rhythmic breathing. In for 2 counts, out for 4. So in for 2, out for 4. Here's what it looks like. 2, ready, and. And I fill up completely in 2, and I get all the air out of 4. So I'm breathing much deeper than normal. So that impacts all sorts of things in our body. So here it is again. And I repeat that for probably 30 seconds, maybe a minute. Then I go to 3 and 6. I have to breathe in slower. I have to breathe out slower so I don't run out of air. This is what it looks like. I even go up to 4-8. Once I went all the way up to 10 and 20. I breathed in for 10 seconds very slowly, out very slowly for 20 seconds. I was able to bring my heart rate down very low. The magic, the optimal zone for learning and living is when our energy is high and our heart rate is slow at the same time. But think about it. The last time your heart rate was that's the last time you had high energy, ATul, your heart rate was probably also high, right? So I'm talking
Right.
about the opposite. I'm talking high energy and lower heart rate. And the way you do that is with measured breathing. When I did 10-20, I got my heart rate down from 72 all the way down to 44, right? So we don't have to be that extreme, but the difference between having a heart, like my regular heart rate is much slower now because I'm in better shape. My regular heart rate is about 54 beats a minute. So check your heart rate, everyone. Check your heart rate when you're feeling down, when you're feeling stressed. Your heart rate will be elevated. Your energy will be low. That's the wrong combination. So what do? We move a little bit, some exercise, a quick walk, some jumping, whatever it is. We exercise, followed by measured breathing. So again, what you want to do is you want to move your body, do some push-ups, whatever it is you do. I do a lot of yoga, all right? Whatever it is you want to do. And there's different kinds of yoga, as I'm sure you know. So do energetic yoga where you're flowing through the poses, not holding poses as much. Although I love that too. And then breathe. And breathe to lower the heart rate. So high energy, lower heart rate, you will have a much better chance. You will succeed in addressing stress and emotional fatigue. And guess what else you're doing? You're modeling it for your children.
Yes,
You're
that's very
modeling this.
important.
You're showing your children.
Yes.
Yeah, very
Great.
exciting.
I think
Thanks for that
yes,
question.
wonderful, wonderful. I think some really brilliant ideas to release your stress. And this is the time then you should work on your body and enhance your skills rather than focusing on negativity outside, because
Yes.
there's so much news coming every day from some or the other place, if you can rather focus on that news or focus on your body and your mind and positivity. So it is about making the
Yeah.
right choice, I believe. So wonderful. I think that's really thing. So
Yes.
we're talking about positivity and hope and resilience as adults. We understand a lot of things. We have a high percentage of children who are in their early age. They're our early childhood children. And you've been working for early childhood education. Also, we've seen that you made children books and all. So please tell us that as young parents, what is your advice? How can we develop a positive mindset from early years for our children? What are the things? Maybe
Mm.
the other day you were telling a story, so of where the child turned out to be very positive. So how what is the role of a parent in developing a positive attitude in the child? What so
The role of the parent, being a parent is not easy. I'm a parent. My children are now big. My daughter is 26 years old. My son, who I'm here with today, is 21. They both live on their own. My daughter is a performing artist and a teacher, music teacher, and is brilliant with young children. And also does other things. The children's books, Sam the Ant books you mentioned, as you said. And my son is an insurance agent and also a deep thinker. And I think about parenthood in your question. And parents out there watching today, there is no such thing as perfect parenting. However, there is an idea of getting better every day. So let me share some things that have helped me with my kids. My kids today love hanging out with me, which to me is a very good sign. It's a it's something that tells me I did something right. Not everything right, but I did some things right. So ask your children, ask them questions, because when we make statements as parents, do that, don't do that. If you do this, blah 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 blah. When we make statements to anyone, it creates a certain kind of energy. Um, it can be okay sometimes, but it's not a creative energy. I almost never make statements, almost never, to anyone. I ask questions. So when we ask questions to our young children, which I did a lot as a father, they get to think. And once I ask the question, I do not answer it for them. If they say, I don't know, what does that mean? My response is usually, I don't know, what do you think? I want to know what you're thinking. What you're thinking is important to me. I want to know what your ideas are. And it creates an authentic dialogue. It creates authenticity. It creates an energy flow that is fun. So to this day, my son or my daughter will text me and say, "Hey, we should get together for coffee or tea," for no reason in particular, right? Of course, it makes me feel very good. I also make sure I don't always pester them, right? I give them space. So with our young children, the first step to creating a positive mindset is creating positive dialogue. Creating positive dialogue. And what is positive dialogue? It's a dialogue, it's conversation that is authentic, that's real. It doesn't matter what the topic is. The topic could be, what are we having for lunch? The topic could be, what can I do now I'm bored? The topic could be, do you want to play with me? The topic could be nature, right? The topic could be helping others. Whatever the topic is, that's fine. But it's not about the topic. It's not about the what. It about it is about the how. It's not about the conversation per se. It's how we have the conversation, right? So for everyone watching, the first step to positive mindset, again, is creating positive dialogue, authentic dialogue. All right. Now there's more to that. Before I get, that's a strategy, right? It's called the art of the question, asking great questions. I'm going to give you another strategy, but first I'm going to give you two more strategies. Strategy one, art of the question, ask good questions, and be quiet enough to let them respond. Don't take control all the time as a parent. There's no need for that. All right. There's no need to take power. Better to empower. It's better to give power away. Real leaders, and as parents, we are leaders. As real leaders never ever say, "I'm the leader." The moment anyone says that, we all know that they're not the leader. Okay. So as
Yes.
parents, there's no need to say, "I'm your parent." That it's a lot better to say, "How are you doing today? What are you thinking about today?" Mind. So the first step to positive mindset is positive and authentic dialogue. I'm going to give you two
Yes.
more strategies, but first a story to get into them. So my nana, going back to my grandmother, she would say something else to me. She would look at me and say, "Mijito," which in Spanish, I'm bilingual. In Spanish, mijito means my boy. So, "Mijito, everything in here can be out there." And she would say it like that. She was like
Yeah.
Yoda from Star Wars. She was, everything, and she had a crackly voice. Everything in here can be out there. And she was teaching me about positive mindset. Before Tony Robbins thing, my nana was teaching the power of the mind. And she taught me about choice. And once upon a time, I work a lot with young children. So this is not just theory. My foundation works with preschool children all the time. And our brain games and our books are meant for that world. Parents, children, and families, right? To work together and learn together. So I was in a preschool classroom in Arizona 10 or 11 years ago. And I was playing the brain games with all these children because brain games help them learn better. Brain games help them, and adults deal with PTSD and depression and anxiety. And they create new neurological connections. So we were games, right? We were playing the brain games, and this one little girl who is usually very happy, she was playing her brain games like this, and she looked sad. So, being the question person I am, I asked her a question, and I said, "Are you not happy?" And she said, "No." So all the children do what children do. They look to see if their friend was okay. And I said, "Why aren't you happy?" And she said, "My mommy's in jail." And I didn't know what to say. But the little boy next to her knew exactly what to say. The little boy put his hand up like this. He was really excited. And it kind of bothered because I felt like saying, "Hey, hold on, we're having a serious discussion. You shouldn't look happy." What I felt like saying. But I didn't say that, of course. I said, "Yes, what do you want to share?" And he did this. He covered his face, and then he said like this, "My daddy's in jail." With a
Oh
smile on
my
his face.
goodness.
I was so confused. What did that mean? I didn't know what that meant. Before I could think, 4 more children put their hands up. On that day, 6 of the 18 children, 33% of the classroom, had a mommy or a daddy in jail. So we serve a lot of underserved populations. We serve schools that, you know, are doing really well too. We don't, my goal in life is to help everyone. We want to help all children, all families, not just some. So there we had 6 out of 18 children with mommy or daddy in jail. And I didn't know what to say, but they had shared with me openly. So I decided to share with them openly. And all I could think to say was, my youngest brother died, which was the truth, right? And so they all went, oh, and they started acting. The moment I showed vulnerability, they showed me more vulnerability. And here's a quick note for all the parents out there.
Hello. I think there is some network connectivity issue at his end, so I think he'll try to log in. Uh, yes, he's joined, I think.
I'm back. I'm back.
Right.
My phone said it was getting too hot. So I'm going to continue. Can you hear me? Am I on? I think I'm on.
Yes, 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 you are on. We can see you now. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. So
No, that's absolutely fine. Yeah.
yeah, back to the story. So here I am. I say my youngest brother has died. And they all start asking questions because I showed vulnerability. As a man, my greatest strength is compassion. Right? My greatest strength is being kind. And women too. Women are typically better at those things, in my opinion. So as men, as fathers, I think we need to remember that compassion and kindness is where it's at. So I opened up to these children and said, my brother died. And one little boy asked, did he have a mommy? I said, yes, he had a mommy. That's my mom. Oh, she's still alive. So we talked about my brother for a while. And then the little girl, the one who was sad, the first one, she put her hand up tentatively, slowly, and said, do you get sad? Because I'd never seen me get sad before, because I come to play and learn. I said, yes, I get sad. And then the little boy did this. And I was really bothered at that. I wanted to say, why are you being goofy and silly? This is a serious moment. But I didn't say that. I said, yes, what do you want to share? And he said, do you cry? With a smile on his face, he asked me, do I cry? I said, yes, I cry sometimes. And the next thing I said came from my grandmother, my Nana, right? And she said, I said, through her, I said, but I still choose happy. Yes, I get sad. Yes, I cry, but I still choose happy. And the little boy did something incredible. He put both hands up and he was really excited. And I was, again, bothered by that. I felt like saying, you're being inappropriate, because I was thinking like an adult. I wasn't living like a child, which I do a lot now. And I said, yes, but I didn't say that. I just was kind. And I said, yes. And his energy changed and he leaned towards me a little more. And very seriously, he said, I choose happy too.
Amazing.
This little boy whose daddy was in jail, someone had taught him to choose happiness.
Fantastic. I think that's great. So, and these habits I personally feel, because we work in early childhood education, that these habits are, if you teach them as early in the age,
yes,
there are very good possibilities that they will continue lifelong. So I think somebody, the parent had taught them that, okay, whenever you feel sad or whenever you feel, things are not going well, that choose to be happy.
And
I
you
think
said it
that's
earlier.
very
You said something very important, Atul, that it's a choice. So for all the parents watching today, my goal is to inspire you to do no matter how good a parent you are already, and I'm sure you are a great parent, to find ways to be even better. And so, for example, do I get sad? Have I found myself getting a little down during the pandemic? Sure, I have. We're all human beings. I'm a performing artist. I was supposed to conduct an orchestra many times, and I haven't gotten to do that. It's part of who I am. I perform on
yes.
piano. I sing. I miss that. I've been filmed doing it, and then I share like you saw that the one link I sent you. It's not the same for me though. So do I. But here's the thing: I know what to do. My daughter knows what to do, and my daughter experienced severe depression and anxiety.
Oh,
I mean, she 6 years ago she attempted suicide,
oh my
and you would
goodness.
never know it because she made a choice. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's going to be a walk in the park, but I am saying it is possible. So a choice I make when I feel down is a choice I make is I go do 10 minutes of yoga, or I meditate 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or I do a quick workout, or I drink more
Fantastic.
water, or I breathe differently, or I play some brain games, right? So there are things we can do. There are things we can do. Let me share one more set of another two quick ideas. One is about mantra work, mantras. I'm a big fan of mantras. And mantras can help us create and choose positive mindset. So a mantra, it works if the mantra is meaningful to us. So I'm going to share with you my mantras. One of them, it's 3 words. You don't have to use these words. You can, but choose words that are meaningful to you. So my mantra used to be, I am grateful. And or I'm feeling grateful, right? I'm feeling loved, right? But I've changed it over before pandemic, about a year ago, I made a change. And what I say now is, I am gratitude. I am gratitude. I am gratitude. That is different than saying I'm grateful, because what I'm doing is I'm personifying. I'm becoming everything that gratitude is. So for me, I'm a very universal thinker. I like to think about universal energy. I like to think about spiritual energy, but for me, it's mostly universal energy. And I believe we're the ones we've been waiting for. I think we have so much greatness inside us that we sometimes forget what our potential is. So I like saying I am gratitude, and when I say it, I can't help but smile a little bit. It feels good. And I sometimes
Yes.
I'm very specific. I'm specific about gratitude from the people, the projects, and the partnerships in my life. People, projects, and partnerships. And I feel the gratitude coming from all of that to me when I breathe in. I breathe in gratitude. But the mantra is I am gratitude, followed by I am love, which is different than saying I am loving. I am loving, that's good too. But saying I am love, that is a very powerful and empowering statement. For me, when I think of love, I'm giving all the love energy back to the people, projects, and partnerships. So when I breathe, I'm breathing in gratitude, breathing out love. And there's no one way to do this. There are many, many people who've done great work in this area. Many from your part of the world, frankly. All right, way before my country. Kind of we. I live in an interesting country, but I'll leave it right there. Today's not about that. But you know what? There's a lot of things we share. And another one is I am champion. So gratitude, love, champion. For me, champion is different than the word winner. For me, the word champion is a really powerful word. And it's the word that saved, according to my daughter, this is her story. And I have permission to share the story. She, she's doing great now, incredible. But when she's a public speaker as well. And when she tells her story, she says that that word saved her life. In the moment that she chose to take the bottle of pills, she heard a voice in her head. And the voice was apparently my voice. And she heard my voice saying to her, "You are a champion," which was the mantra that I use with my children. My Nana said to me, "Everything you touch turns to gold. Everything in here can be out there." My mantra for my kids was, "You're a champion." And I said it a lot. I mean, a lot. Probably daily, at least weekly, for years. And to this day, when I text them, I'll say, "How's it going, champ? How you doing, champ?" Right?
Wow.
And she heard those
That,
words,
yes.
"You are a champion." And in that moment, she chose to call out for help and decided she did not want to die. So how
Right.
important are the words we use, not just for our children, but for ourselves? We can
Yes.
now
And
measure the energy of thoughts. We all know this. Thoughts have real energy. Thoughts can create disease. Thoughts can heal disease. We are more powerful than we realize.
right.
And that is where the growth is coming with this pandemic. There is an awakening going on. There's a great awakening. It is the third epic, according to Robert Keck, in the book Sacred Eyes. And in that book, he talks about three epics. Epic 1 is all about survival. Epic 2 is all about tribalism, which we're still in. Epic 2, the new tribes are corporations. And not all corporations are bad, some are good. And then Epic 3 is about awakening, right? And reminding ourselves of what we are, who we are, and how we are together. So there's the me and the we, the yin and the yang, or yin and yang, right? So there's the me and the we. Sorry about the dogs; they'll stop barking in a moment. So gratitude, love. Yeah, give me one moment. Give me one moment. That's
Oh,
my
you have a
son's dog.
dog?
Yeah, big dog, 180
Yes.
pound Great Dane. My son's dog. So he was saying hi to someone who was visiting here. So anyway, gratitude, love, champion. One more thing, and I know there's another question I think you want to ask, and then we'll have time for Q&A. But I want to talk about my son just briefly. I talked to my daughter. When we want to choose positive mindset, there is something else we have to get really good at. We have to get really good at observing life. Because when we observe only social media, it is easy to think that there is more bad than good. And that is simply not a fact. If we observe life, all of life, nature, the facial gestures of our loved ones, of people, of things around us, of the food we eat, if we observe the single parent who gets up every day and makes food for their kids and finds a way to get them to school and works, and then at the end of the, and they do it every day they do that. To me, that's a story of a hero, right? That's a
Right.
story of a hero. But we don't see that reported on social media or any kind of news because it's not exciting enough. But that happens billions of times every day, not millions. That happens millions, billions of times a day. So how much
Correct.
good in the world is there? So we need to be better at observing. And here's a game you can all play with your kids. Here's a strategy. It's called New and Who. Okay. So when my son was 14, I noticed he was not observing life as well as he had been when he was a 3-year-old, which is normal. As we get older and we get into adulthood, we become very bad observers because we get the blinders on. We have our check boxes, the things we have to do or think we have to do, and we forget to observe entirely. And we forget to see beauty. We forget to see our own grace inside us, right? So I said to my son, "Want to play a game?" Now, if I asked my son when he was three, and I said, "Want to play a game?" His response was, "Yeah, Dad, let's play a game." When he was 14, his response was, "Yeah, okay, what's the game?" I said, "It's called New and Who." He said, "How do you play?" I said, "You have to find something new that you've never noticed before and then tell me. And then there's a second question." He said, "What's the second question?" "I can't tell you yet or I'll give the game away." He said, "Okay, like anything, like at home?" like observing something I've never seen. I said, it might be something you've seen, but you've never noticed. But it could be at work, it could be at school, wherever. He said, okay. And then he said, how do you win? So I said, I can't tell you, or I'd give the game away. He's like, oh, Dad, you and your Yoda-like questions. Because that's the wrong, how to win is not, it's not the best question we can ask as human beings. But there's some people who think it is. I disagree. I'm not saying competition isn't good. Healthy competition can be very healthy, very good. You know? But I compete every day with myself. I compete with myself every day, right? So my son says, okay, yeah, I'll play the game. He didn't seem too excited. So I drop him off at school. I said, hey, have a great day. Remember, find something new today. And so when I pick him up at the end of the day, his freshman year in high school, I get him in the car and we talk a little. I said, so what'd you find that was new? And he said, what? Oh, Dad, I forgot. So I'm driving and I pull one of these. Oh, you forgot. Oh, okay. You know, a little guilt trip, right? And he said, oh, okay, anything? I said, yeah, anything. We're driving through the desert where we live. We live in the desert. He looks out the window and he says, that rock. I said, really? That rock? That's the best you can do? He said, you said anything, Dad. I said, you're right, I did. He said, what's the second question? I said, I thought, oh, he remembered, good. Oh, the second question is, who are you? And the second question is, who are you? And he said, what? I said, who are you? He said, Nick Feldman. I said, okay. And my son asked, is that what you were looking for? I said, I don't know, was it? Oh, Dad. So we keep playing the game, not every day, a couple times a week. He would notice a little more. He'd notice a red manila folder in between a stack of yellow manila folders. We talk about it. What do you think it was? Oh, probably for bad grades. Oh, okay. And who are you? Nick Feldman. And a new security camera. We talked a little more about that. Who are you? Nick Feldman. You know, one day I was texting him. He was on the bus to school. And I texted him, hey, have a great day. And he texted me without me asking. He said, hey, I noticed something really interesting on the way to school. I said, really, what is it? He said, I noticed that the yellow Camaro parked between the McDonald's, which I do not go to, by the way, the McDonald's and the Chase Bank. It's always there. There's a yellow Camaro always parked between the bank and the McDonald's. Yeah. I said, that's interesting. I wonder why. And he had a bunch of reasons. Well, it could be the owner of the bank, probably not an employee of McDonald's. They probably couldn't afford a yellow Camaro. Maybe a manager. I don't think so. He had a lot. I said, great observations. And then I texted, who are you? And he said, Nick Feldman. So we kept playing the game. And then we stopped. Right. We stopped for a while. You know, it wasn't like homework. One day he comes home, like 3 months later, he comes home from school really excited. And I didn't say anything. He came up right to me in the hallway. I remember it clearly. He said, Dad, I noticed something really interesting today. I said, really? What was it? When I ask my friends a question, and they're in a group together, they all come up with a consensus. They all come up with an agreed upon answer very quickly. But when I ask the same question to each of them individually, they have very different answers. Wow. I said, wow. So we talked about social dynamics, personality, peer pressure, right? And then I said, who are, and he interrupted me and said, you know what, Dad, if you were to ask me, what am I might have more to say. Now, inside, I was doing backflips because the learner, even though he's 14 and not 3, I played this game with 3 and 4 and 5-year-olds, by the way. It's hilarious, right? The learner will change the game. Let them. The greatest of us in humanity changed the game. Whether it's Martin Luther King or Gandhi, you take your pick, right? Whether it's some tech guru, right? We change the game. It's what we do, right? It's why we live. It's what we live for. I said, fine, what are you? And my 14-year-old said to me, I'm a carer. I said, a what? A carer. You mean like caring? He said, yeah, I like to care for people. Wow. I had never heard my son say that. Next time we played the game, I said, what are you? He wanted, what are you? And a little semantics, tomato, tomato, but that's not the point. The second time he said, I'm a striver. I like to strive. So you like to strive and you like to care. Yeah. And look what my son's doing today. He's an insurance agent where he gets to care for people, help them set up different things for their family, and he gets to strive. So there's a game you can play. Now, last time I played this with a 4-year-old, I asked the 4-year-old, what's something you've never noticed before? And I think they went outside and picked up a rock or something, right? Great. What is that rock there for? I don't know. We should think about what rocks do, right? And then I said, who are you? And he said, I'm a kid. A month
Agree.
later, but a month later, you know what he said? And, we had conversations, right? It's different each time. At one point in time, that same child said, he was a 5-year-old, not a 3-year-old. He was a 5-year-old. I'm an adventure. He said, I'm an adventurer. And he said it really cute. He was trying to say, I'm an adventurer. I like to take adventures, right? So it's a really powerful way to not only teach positive mindset, but to teach people how to think and how to observe. So that was a really long answer. Sorry about that.
Amazing. No, no, that's a very different view, how to think and how to observe. Very important. You need to have that at this, very early age. And especially, I really like that, the first part of your answer, that every day in the morning, maybe what parents can do, they talk about the positive things that you have in life.
Yeah.
You have a family, you have a dog, maybe you have food on the plate, you don't have to go out and do anything,
Right.
and things are doing fine. So maybe uh, parents can inculcate this habit of taking out and writing down in the diary every day in the morning, that what are the
Yeah.
things that they have in life, the gratitude, what the maybe make a gratitude lift. And
Yeah.
I believe at this age, suppose the 4 to 5 year, if you can teach them positive affirmation that I am a champion and I will do it today.
Yes.
Okay, so I it reminds me of a very one of our senior leaders where I was working. He used to tell, every day in the morning when you floss your teeth, don't look at the teeth, look into your eyes and say to yourself that I believe in myself and I'm the best and I will do it today. So
Oh,
you
that's
just kind of
yes.
that's the first thing that you do in the morning. You blindly floss your teeth. So
Yeah.
that really wonderful. I think that's great. So we had a
I was
wonderful conversation.
laughing a little because when you said I believe in myself, looking in your eyes, having a young kid do that while they're brushing their teeth as opposed to looking at their teeth. Well, that's a really simple but cool idea. And the reason is I was kind of, that lit me up is actually a colleague of mine, Andres Ruiz, and we just finished creating something called Reinvent Yourself, which is based on his mantra of I believe in myself. So he has hats that say that and masks and all sorts of stuff. So it's a course based on that idea. It's a course based on, and when people think I believe in myself, what does that mean? Some people think it's kind of cheesy, kind of corny. But if you ask them when they're not feeling so great about who they are, when they're by them with their own thoughts by themselves, which they sometimes don't share, then it begins to really resonate in a different way. So thanks for sharing that.
Yes, great. So a very important thing, that this is for the young entrepreneurs who are watching us. People
Okay.
there were a lot of people who were just warming up and they had started new business, and the business were hit by this pandemic. Some of them may be thinking of quitting as a solution, because this pandemic seems to be going on for last 5 to 6 months. What is your message for them, for entrepreneurs who wanted to do something in life and now it's kind of turbulence? They are in a double mind, whether I should continue, whether I should
Right.
stay on. What should be their, how should they deal with this situation or adversity? What is your advice to those young entrepreneurs? Because I
Yeah.
feel many of them may be thinking it as a solution. Look, now it is going beyond my control. Okay, so let's call it a let's quit it. So
I have definitely some advice. I have been there, not just now, but back in 2008 and 2011. There were some things that happened, not like this, I mean, but just in the economy. And my foundation started in 2000. So my foundation has never stopped. And my foundation is now a hub. And then I'll give the advice. So entrepreneurs, be listening. My foundation is a hub to 12 different companies, right? 6 of which are my own, 6 of which I am involved with others. And it's everything from tech to healthcare, mostly all of it related to learning and you know, how we teach people and young kids. So this is not the time to stop. In fact, it's the opposite. This is the time to dive in. Let me make one. You know, there are a lot of different businesses out there, and just waving to my son. They're going for a hike. See you guys. Have a great time. So anyway, so I'm going to use one example. I mean, I've worked with all sorts of companies as an executive trainer, but I'm going to make the example of people who own preschools, since that's what you do, and you have franchises, and there's a good chance there's probably people watching that own preschools, right? So I'm going to use that as an example to make it concrete, so it's not just conceptual. So my foundation has actually grown in the last 6 months, and not because we're selling masks. And I'm not making fun of anyone who is selling masks. That's what some people do. We have grown because we were already pivoting. We have been a virtual company. We have no building, and we don't want a building, right? So that's one advantage. But let's say you own a preschool, and you have a building, and you have children, and you have families, and none of them can actually go. None of them can, you know, you can't go there, right? So maybe should we quit? No. Look at what's happening right now as I'm speaking. And think about all the content I've shared virtually, right? There is so much content that you can find it online. And there are ways to create a learning environment virtually,
Yes,
right? And
absolutely.
here's the thing. In my personal opinion, virtual learning is not going away. It was already here, and it was already big. It was already moving forward. Now it's moving forward even faster. So there are going to be 2 types of entrepreneurs in the early childhood world. There will be those who quit sometime soon, and there will be, and I'm not making fun of anyone who does that. I'm not making judgment or anything. And there will be those who
Absolutely.
find a way to embrace even more learning, because virtually, you know, ATul, I'm in Arizona. I'm 12 and a half hours or something different time zone. Do you know what it would cost to fly me out? And I do get, well, not now, but before the pandemic, I would get flown out to places, put me up in a hotel, pay my fee, thousands and thousands of dollars. Instead, I'm on my computer. I'm on a little vacation up in Flagstaff, Arizona, 4 hours north of where I live. I don't mind. I love doing this. ATul's in India. I'm in Arizona. You could access my content. Some of my content is free, by the way. I'm going to type in the chat box. So there'll be 2 types of people, right? The business owners. The business owners who find a way to engage virtual learning, they will be very happy they did so a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now. And those who don't, in my personal opinion, will be sad they didn't. They will be sad they did not do it. So I just put a link up in the chat, and I think everyone can see it, hopefully. So it just says enriquecfeldman.com/blog /blog/. So I have a bunch of blogs there. Those are personal development blogs. The other set of blogs are for young children and teachers. What a surprise, right? This is what I do. It's what I think of at night. I'm just totally in love with what I do, and in love with the children and families I get to work with. So Sam the Ant. So I just sent you 2 links. where you have free blogs, and the Sam the Ant blogs are educational strategies and educational ideas. How to read with music, how to create authentic dialogue, how to teach science, how to teach math in fun ways. Okay? Is newness uncomfortable? Sure it is. Sure it is. Get over it. It's okay.
So
So, yeah, go ahead.
yes, I would like to contribute here.
Yes.
See, there is the pandemic has pushed a lot of us to change.
Yeah.
Okay, change and embrace technology. I will say, and so there are a lot of people who are maybe not adapting to that change. Will have a tough time, but a lot of people will take this as an opportunity and transform themselves. They will use this opportunity as a springboard to go to the next level, because they embrace technology, and they learned new skills, and they will be head and shoulder above the
Yes.
so-called maybe traditional ones.
Yeah.
Because now I personally feel that due to this pandemic, a lot of businesses have come on a level playing field, where now you have an opportunity. If you want to take a leap, then this is the
Yeah.
right time. Just prepare yourself when everybody is worried, when everybody is
Oh, yeah.
kind of going through that turbulence. So
I
embrace the
mean,
change.
absolutely. I agree. Those are fantastic comments. Let me go a step further. If I was in the business of owning preschools, I'm not. I'm in the business of working with preschools and empowering them, and their families and so forth. If I were in the business of owning preschools and I owned a preschool, I would buy two or three more. That's what I do. All right. I would. It's like when stocks are low in the U.S. stock market. That's when you buy. You buy when the stock market lowers. You don't sell. That's when you buy.
Mhm.
This is the time, like you're saying, to emerge and to let yourself blossom. And you have people like ATul or myself or whoever, people you can get guidance from. But it is both a challenging time. It is. I know people who passed away, and simultaneously, it is an exciting time. So it can be both. It can be both.
But a lot of, I feel, the weaker ones, the people who don't have belief in themselves,
Ah,
they will be the first ones to quit. and
yes,
and I'm not sure whether they were really born to be entrepreneurs, because I feel that is a sign of weakness, when this is the time when you should emerge much more stronger as an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship is about three P's, which I usually say: the patience, then persistence, and passion. These three things are very, very important. If you are a entrepreneur, you can't just this pandemic of 6 months or 1 year should not create that turbulence in your life that you think of, no, 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 I'll go back. Rather, find a way to cut your cost, cut your expenses, make sure that
yeah,
uh, optimize your costs, and try to rally through this time, because I'm sure a lot of weaker ones will
yeah,
will go down, and then you can emerge as a very powerful entrepreneur. So I am seeing so many startups coming on the net, and this is the
oh
time
yeah,
people are actually creating new businesses, I feel.
oh
and
yeah,
and they will go a long way, because this is a time when people are it's a time to actually rethink of something that is unshakable. This is the time
yes,
which is unshakable. No pandemic can impact you. I think there's a lot of things.
yeah,
Amazing. So we had a fantastic time, friends. We had some great thoughts on hope, positivity, resilience, and gratitude, and positivity in children, and how entrepreneurs should deal with this adversity. I hope this discussion would be thought provoking. If not, you take a decision, it must be provoking and beneficial for a lot of us. So my sincere thanks to you, sir,
thank you.
for agreeing to do this webinar with our team. And there are no words for me, because we were very excited to have you, and it's a kind of dream come true to have you with us. And
Oh,
I look forward to have you more and more to motivate us again.
yeah, I'd be happy
You
to.
know,
It's a real pleasure. I really love what I do, and I know why I'm here on this planet in this particular lifetime. And if you'd like some future sessions that are even more specific, let's say to strategies, like I mentioned, reading with music, it's a powerful thing. So if you need
yes.
anything else in the future, just let me
Definitely,
know. Let
definitely,
me know.
definitely. No, 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 no. We will connect again.
Okay.
Maybe on some different topics.
Okay.
Maybe music. The role of music in our lives is something, because I'm also a big fan of
Yes.
music. But in the middle of I will say this run around on business and other things. I lost my interest in music, but I want to regain it, because I feel it's really impactful to
Good for
make
you.
life changing actually.
Good for
Anyways,
you.
thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, viewers. You all have a good night and a happy weekend.
Yes.
Stay safe until we meet again. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone. Bye
everyone.
bye.
Yeah. Thank you.